Are you listening? Damn.
And the ball is loose. Third and 4.
Welcome to another edition. Coming back from the break. Shout out to all of you. Thank you for the people that are joining us. Thank you for everybody to be here. We're coming back now until I don't even remember when the next break's like
July or it's June. I think we take June off, right?
Okay.
Once we
like
get
that.
the
No.
break,
It's July, right? It's July.
Is it July?
Nothing happens in July. If it's not,
But then we start the rankings at some point, and that just carries us right through. But I forget if we take June or July off. Do we do August, then break, then who knows, man? How does it? Someone in chat, let us know. How does AFC North Talk work? We haven't done this.
How does it work? It doesn't work on time. You will not be on time. You guys know that.
Yeah, well,
we get backstage. We get to talking. We haven't talked to each other all.
I know.
Time. So we're already doing pre-show topics behind stage.
Yes,
catching
we
up.
we were talking. I'm like, dude, we're basically doing the show now. Like we were talking. I'm like, shit, we should.
It's always like that. We always start the show really 10 minutes before the show starts. You guys just don't see it.
Exactly. Silent Wolf, thank you for the donation. We back, baby. Love you guys. Unfortunate that last part.
Say the end. Say the end, Sonny. Say the end.
Oh man.
That man gave us $20. We not gonna say his full chat.
I said it.
Did you say? You said, "Hey, welcome back." You didn't say the end of.
I said go Browns at the end.
There was a wolf in there.
There's no wolf. Let me go back. There's no wolf. No, that was his name, Silent Wolf. But no. Go Browns. Okay. Diddy here says, so Browns gonna win the offseason again?
Yeah, of course it's a Bengal fan making that joke.
The last part. Sonny said the last part.
Yeah.
All I would say is, of course, a Bengal fan gonna make that joke, right? Yeah, because you guys don't have the facilities to win the off season, but it's cool. It's cool. The pockets ain't deep enough to win the off season.
We had to leak the article that we are renovating the training room. It is coming.
Y'all not gonna have people changing their babies on the bathroom floor no more? Y'all gonna put some electricity outlets in the locker room?
No way. I didn't see that.
These are all real things.
No way.
Mm-hmm.
I did not know that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you should read it because they got some interesting information about your Ravens on those reports too.
So I read the Ravens one.
There's one interesting report on there about the Ravens.
I read the Ravens.
How do you have a bad strength and conditioning coach? Like that is one of the most inexcusable things. It's like
fire him.
Dude, everybody got a good strength and conditioning coach.
Is he bad or is he just too good? You know what I mean?
Injuries.
He's got guys coming back.
Your strength and conditioning coach is literally overclocking your players. Like he's overclocking them. You know what I mean? With
so
no
heat.
heat.
Marlon Humphrey said that. I'm sorry. Do you saw what Marlon Humphrey said about that on Twitter? He said he put the article out there. He's like, "How are we ranking? I think in family because the Ravens are very big in family. Like the kids are brought like every couple practice. Sometimes, like especially in the off season, there's a practice for all the families just to come, just the family of the players, and then bring like ice cream trucks and all that, right? So Marlon's like, why are we ranking like so low in this and this? And then he's like, that strength conditioning thing, I'm gonna take a pass.
Well, now we know. We've been wondering for years. Why is it that the Ravens it's just the injury thing. It's not a luck thing with them. It's a routinely, you just know, okay, day ends and why someone is going to tear their ACL. Now we know why.
Shout out, because that's the same strength coach that got him in COVID protocol in 2020.
Yeah,
remember that? Yeah, that genius.
We should all aspire to his job security. You know what I mean? Like,
hey, you know what, man?
Aspire to that level of job security. You can be that bad at your job, and yet
You know, it's kind of like that dude that dude who had the checkered pass that Urban Meyer tried to bring to the NFL must be the homie of homies behind the scenes for me to put my neck out like that for you. Like that, he must be the jam at the bar with John Harbaugh, because I can't understand why you would do that.
Mike, we take a Harbaugh. He's very loyal to his staff.
Harbaugh, homeboy, Hall of Fame.
Loyal to a fault. To an actual fault.
You know who Harbaugh should have went after? Derek Carr, because both loyal, to a fault, homeboy, Hall of Fame type people. They would get along very well. And
they have a quarterback. They have a quarterback. What are you talking about?
That's right. Pro Bowl quarterback. You got to remember.
Two Pro Bowl.
That's right. You got a Pro Bowl quarterback.
Which Hundley, the one that's in the XFL or the one that's gonna be in the XFL?
Hey, you could have won a playoff game. You could have one playback.
He can have one playback. Okay, couple more super chats here. Q, I need you to apologize for the trauma caused me by cursing the Ravens with your "Has Lamar played his last snap in Baltimore?" prophecy.
I'm not gonna dance on the grave yet. It ain't there yet. You know what I mean? There's still a chance that he comes back to Baltimore. I think there's a better chance now that they didn't do like the exclusive tag, like that they did non-exclusive. That was probably a better move for them in the long run. We'll see what happens with Lamar. I think that's going to be one of the more interesting situations. And I don't anticipate this being a day one of free agency situation where this gets handled. I think this lingers. I honestly think this lingers until April. Probably till after the draft.
I think after the draft now.
This is gonna linger.
Because you would, if you're the Ravens, you really want it. Like if he's gonna be traded, that conversation needed to have started pretty not necessarily like really quickly, but like you would rather the reports today be that Lamar has interest from a handful of teams, right? And that he's gonna meet with one or two of them, rather than the initial reports being like not interested. Nope. That's not great if you're the Ravens and you want him to be traded. Obviously, I don't think.
I just don't think they want. Okay, I don't think they want him to be traded. This is my 2 cents. I have no sources. I had nobody calling me here like, hey, I saw this. No, I think because the word collusion got thrown out like the day after or the day off, right? My thing is, okay, the Ravens talk to teams. Let's say Atlanta. We heard Atlanta was engaging in trading talks with the Ravens, right? We heard that report. I think it's the only one. I think I also heard the Panthers kick the tires, right? This is during the combine, right? Right? Very early. I think as these teams are talking to the Ravens, hey, if you're not going to sign Lamar, we might be willing to trade, right? Not only on compensation, we know the compensation roughly is Deshaun Watson, right? Roughly around there. More picks, less pickup, but around there. So if you're a responsible team like Atlanta, whoever, will ask, okay, but what is Lamar asking contract-wise? Not what you're offering. What is he asking? So I know if I can meet, right? And my theory is those teams think it's a little too rich for them, right?
Yeah.
Two teams, by the way, that were in on Deshaun Watson last year.
Yeah, true. But those two teams, for draft compensation, they were willing to part ways. Money-wise, they were not willing to get where the Browns were, right? And we talk about how the Browns got out of the trade, like from Watson's perspective there. He was like, I'm going to go to the Panthers or Atlanta. And then the Browns came with the money, and he went to the Browns. Okay. Yeah. Then the other problem that Lamar has is, think about how many teams right now need a quarterback. About 7, right? If you take the Ravens away, about 7. One of them being the Jets. It looks like the Jets are going to get, Aaron Rodgers. And if not the Jets, somebody's going to get Aaron Rodgers, right? Looks like Aaron Rodgers is definitely leaving Green Bay. Somebody apparently is going to be content with this, which is crazy, with Jimmy Garoppolo, right? And now you have about, I know, right? And now you have about 5 teams, right? 5 teams that need a quarterback.
Wait, where's Jimmy G going? I'm sorry, I missed that.
No, I said a team. One of
these, okay.
One of these from the 7 teams, so the Jets are gonna get Favre, not Favre.
Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, so same
pulling
thing.
a Brett Favre.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Jail is getting Brett
and
Favre.
then you have 16, right? And you have 16, and I'm saying one of those 16 is getting
Which county?
One of the 16 is getting Garoppolo. We don't know who. But whoever this team is apparently is content with that. The problem is
somebody wants Jimmy G.
I think so.
Well, here's the thing though. Like, I think we can't look at it as teams that don't have quarterbacks might be interested in him, because it's not always the teams that don't, like, on the surface have anybody at the position that are going to be interested in him. It's going to be teams that are going to want to upgrade to that if they see him as an upgrade, which I think they should. That's also part of it. Like, if you're sitting there with Tua, are you really saying you're not going to even think about this whole Lamar thing? Now, I don't know if they can even get into it because of the first round picks that they have to give up to match the tag.
They just
gave Tua his 5th-year option.
Yeah. So I just also think, like, some of the reporting around this has been weird because, like, the obvious deterrent for teams to put out an offer is the 2 first-round picks that they have to, like, kind of put on hold there for it.
Not be though.
Well, I'm saying like people are reporting things like, oh, it's Desmond Ritter's feelings that they're trying to, or what was the other one that was out there? Oh, that nobody wants to do the work on the contract just for the Ravens to match it. And it's like, those aren't real reasons why NFL teams don't go after guys in Lamar's situation. Like, they're trying to figure out, like, okay, is the cap hit plus the loss of 2 draft picks something we can withstand and still be a contending football team? There's not many teams in position to do that right now. That might be the thing. Like, I think it's more about teams in that position that are going to be willing to do that. And also, like, do they think Lamar is going to have a long career? Part of the reason Deshaun can get that high price is because Deshaun is not seen as just a runner. He's seen as also a prolific passer, somebody who's led the league in passing yards. For better or worse, or fair or not, the perception of Lamar is not of a great passer, even though I think he's very underrated in that aspect of it. That's something that's also working against him, you know, where it's like, do we want to offer Lamar? How old is Lamar now? 26?
26. Yep. So,
you know, if you offer him a 5-year deal, he's going to be on the other side of 30 at the end of that contract. Is he closer to 27 or 26?
No,
when's his birthday?
26. Yeah.
He just turned. Okay, so he'll be 31 at the end of that deal. So, you know, are you talking about a 5-year window where you're also losing 2 first-round picks? Like, are you ready to go all in on that now? And I think one of the teams that would have been interested, ironically enough, was the Browns, because they had that kind of set up to go for it, but they have Deshaun now. So that is kind of one of the things I'm like, that's probably going to hold up Lamar on it. I don't know why the reporting on this has been so, like, people have been taking obvious BS and just, like, reporting it as fact.
I can tell you why. I think
you think this is the owners?
Because Lamar has no agent, so he's not, like, remember last year, Watson had, like, his lawyer and his agent doing freaking media tours, right, about this whole thing about how he was innocent and how, you know, here are the teams he wants to go to. I mean, they did the whole media rounds. Lamar, I understand why he has no agent, but it is really hurting him in this because, to your point, Q, the reporting on this is completely one-sided. It's all coming from the teams. You listen to, like, Tom Pelissero on Rich Eisen. I mean, he is 100% just parroting. I mean, you probably word for word stuff he's hearing from general managers and owners in the National Football League, and Lamar has no representatives out there to give his own side of this.
Plus, the agents are probably pushing their narrative too, right? Right, the narrative, because he doesn't have an agent, this is happening. But
well, there's, like, multiple things like, he is one man trying to go up against a system right now, and there are multiple things that are just crushing him, perception wise, right? You have people who have an invested interest in, like, hey, we don't want the player that gets the biggest guaranteed deal outside of Deshaun Watson in NFL history, the biggest free agent guaranteed deal, to be somebody who is representing himself, because then that does not make it easy for me to sell myself to other athletes. So there's a vested interest by some agents. Not saying it's a conspiracy, but, like, look at where the interest is, that people who would be agents would be like, I don't think this is going to work out for this reason. And it's probably not working out for these reasons because he doesn't have a team out here to fight it, which I always feel like is worth the 3%. Like, I'm always pro get an agent, get somebody to work for you.
Lamar needs an agent. Lamar needs an agent.
Yeah, because you need somebody to work against you. You know, I feel like I've been his agent more than, like, he been his agent, right? Like, there has to be somebody that's willing to say, y'all see that's obvious BS? Like, what are you talking about? Desmond Ritter's feelings are why like, that makes no sense. He's a day 3 pick. He has no feelings at that point. Like, there has been so much nonsense out there about it that this is where him not having an agent hurt him. Now, ironically, he's not in this situation if he doesn't have an agent, because I don't think he even presses for the guaranteed deal if he does have an agent, because an agent also has incentives to be like, let's play ball with the owners here. Let's try to get something closer to Kyler here than Deshaun. They don't want to do that because they also have to work with all 32 teams. So it's just a number. There's a whole system against Lamar Jackson right now in getting what he wants, and that's why this is going to take a while. But I don't know what's in his mind. Does he know that he's up against this, or did he know that he was going to be fighting this battle like this? But he ended up almost being kind of a pseudo revolutionary figure in free agency just by going about it the way he has. And what we know about revolutionary figures is that we revere them in retrospect, but in the moment, they are getting it all from all the powers of being.
Well, the last guy to do this, the last guy to really do this was Le'Veon, right? I mean, Le'Veon really tried to reset the market at the running back position. I mean, literally sat out an entire year.
And then costing him.
Well, yeah, exactly. The weird thing for me, though, Le'Veon's like big success. And I think
weird thing for me, though, is like 2 first-round picks is nothing in the realm of giving that up for Lamar Jackson. That's the weird part about all of this is people are like, oh, I don't want to give up 2 firsts. Well, if you were to trade for him, just straight up, it's going to cost you way more than 2 first-rounders.
Well, here's what also not having an agent has. Since you have no pushback, right, the conversation can get ridiculous. When the conversation gets ridiculous to this end and there's no pushback, now all of a sudden, if I'm defending you, I have to go and be like, well, I get that you wouldn't want to do the cap hit, but you have to give up some that's in the popular conscious of the argument in order to get back into what is seen as reasonable. Because was it the Overton window? The Overton window on the conversation with Lamar Jackson has been pushed by everybody else to the point to where, yeah, you're right. 2 first-round picks for a quarterback who's won the MVP before is nothing. It's a deal. It's a bargain. But the Overton window is so far over here that if you do it, people are going to be like, oh, that's right. What are you doing? It's crazy. Like, you need to have a team. Like, I don't know if it's an agent, but he needs to have a bigger public relations team. Look, man, you're going to have to split that check, dog. Like, it just is what it is. Once you are.
Is it that he's trying to give his mom the 3%? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Well, his mom going to get more than 3%. Like, he's not about to stiff his mom. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think this is a problem. I think he just doesn't see I think this is one of those things where Lamar's a smart guy and he's smart because of his simplicity that he sees things sometimes. And I think he sees, like, when he looks at the agent, he goes, I don't see the need for this. If I know what I want, they know what I want. Why can't I negotiate the deal?
Hold on. Breaking news. The Chicago Bears are trading the #1 overall pick to the Panthers in exchange for big-time compensation, including multiple first-rounders. Chicago loads up and lands #9, while Carolina can draft its QB of the future.
Damn.
Who the hell does Carolina pick there? Is it Anthony Richardson?
It's going to be Anthony Richardson, but it should be Bryce Young, but I'm going to guess it's going to be Anthony Richardson.
Look, this was going to add to my point, right? Look right there. The Chicago Bears are going to get multiple firsts for that first-round pick, a rookie, right? So this is why Lamar's first-round pick, like Ace is saying, is not that much now. But the other thing I wanted to add, different from Watson, this is something I wanted to add. When Watson was there to be traded, the teams that needed a quarterback were looking at the draft and saying, who's out there, right? The draft might be great when we look in retrospect, but we all here were sitting down and all teams talking about, well, this was one of the worst draft class. This year, I was saying earlier, right? We have 5 teams. If we put Rodgers and Garoppolo to a team, 5 teams that need a quarterback. But we're talking about 4 quarterbacks as a top 10 pick. Right, so those
but
no.
I don't know. This isn't like Caleb Williams. Like if I don't think anybody at this draft is like a deterrent from getting Lamar Jackson.
Any of these guys?
I think it is. I think it is. Because you always talk about this.
You can talk yourself into it. Sure, I'm a Browns fan. I've watched teams talk themselves into dumb things all the time.
Right.
You can talk yourself into it. And maybe that's the argument, is that you couldn't do it last year. You could not look at Malik Willis and be like, oh, yeah, that's just as good as having Deshaun Watson. Maybe you can do that this year, and maybe that's a factor.
Because
that don't make it smart.
Here's the point.
It's a risk.
Sonny, I think this is your point, right? Which is, I think we are getting into this era where it becomes true every single year. And once, the more it happens, the more I think GMs are actually starting to believe this, which is that we're getting into the era of, I mean, you really shouldn't pay a quarterback, right? Because, like, you know, at the end of the day, once you pay your quarterback, your chances of making the Super Bowl or even winning the Super Bowl diminish greatly. You know, every single season since the new CBA, since that CBA where we changed the rookie pay scale, a quarterback on a rookie contract has made or won the Super Bowl every single season. And so the question is,
Mahomes this year?
Mahomes this year. He broke it.
Pat Mahomes.
Mahomes this year.
Has either played in or won, not both. Not both. Played in or won. Jalen Hurts on his rookie contract. Every single season.
Played in.
Yeah. Every single season that's happened. The only season, Sonny, was the one where we went over this on the Patreon. But the only season it didn't happen was Mahomes, right? Mahomes right after he signed the new deal, but his money hadn't kicked in.
No, the only one actually.
Well, I get that. Like, it's a good idea to have a good quarterback on a cheap deal. Like, that's not crazy news to me. But but the thing used to be the expensive quarterback was a prohibitor to even getting to win the Super Bowl or get to the Super Bowl. And I think if you look at those numbers, like, I think just if you get a rookie contract quarterback, it's just as likely you get somebody who's gotten paid on the other side.
Well, I think that the idea here is, would you rather have a Lamar Jackson at potentially the most expensive contract or the second most expensive contract at the position? Or would you rather take a chance at what we're all considering a good quarterback class? Now, obviously, there's no guarantees in this class. No Andrew Luck in this class, right? But it's a good quarterback class. What would you rather do? And I think the NFL right now, and again, we'll see what we'll see what happens between now and July. The NFL right now is saying, I'd rather take a chance that I can get the rookie on his rookie and build that than take Lamar on the crazy contract.
Go ahead, Ace. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say I do agree with that. That's the premise, but when you're these teams that are picking at the top, a lot of them have been bad for years. I don't know if they can take that gamble on this guy not working out and then resetting the whole thing when you got a guy that's 26, won an MVP. It's not like this guy's like 33 or something, right? Like, he's 26, he's won an MVP. He's done it in a situation where he hasn't had a bunch of weapons on offense. So, if you do give him the money, he can make a lot with the little on offense. For me, like, I get it, but I don't get it at the same time. Because if you're telling me Will Levis is worth passing on Lamar Jackson, like, I'm Anthony Richardson.
He's not.
I'm not seeing it, dog. I'm not seeing you pass on a guy that is a sure thing in the NFL, has already played. You've already seen the sample size. You've already seen what he can do. To be like, I'm going to take this other guy.
The chance that you might hit on somebody that might, like, not just good, like, mind you, we're talking about really good, like we're talking about Joe Burrows, Pat Mahomes,
Lamar Jackson.
These are guys who you have a less than 1% chance of, like, when you're about to get one of these dudes, right? Like it's like the next guy that it might be is like maybe Caleb Williams. Every once in a while, somebody catches you by surprise, like Pat Mahomes. But, like, this does not happen often. And maybe people just think lowly of Jalen Hurts and like, oh, you just get a rookie quarterback and then build around him and you'd be fine. But, like, we've done this experiment with plenty of other, like, mid to pretty good quarterbacks to know it don't work like that. Like, the guy under your rookie deal still has to be somebody who's probably going to make a Hall of Fame argument at the end of his career. Like, that's what
you're not taking a quarterback in the top 10 and, like, being like, well, I hope he's mid. You know what I mean?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I know that, Tony. But what I'm saying is, that's the odds is that, like, maybe he's good. Maybe he's bad, but, like, the odds that he becomes the level of quarterback you need to get to a Super Bowl within the first 5 years of his NFL career, that's not betting odds. Like, you cannot just sit there and bet on that.
Okay, counterpoint, because you're doing the same math when you sign Lamar, right? You're saying, I bet that I can pay my quarterback the most money you could pay him at a position, right? We're essentially saying Lamar's going to reset or be second best and still compete year after year for Super Bowls. We haven't seen a team do that other than Mahomes.
Most that compete consistently have quarterbacks on expensive deals.
Well, we have not seen a team consistently be at that level, right? Other than Mahomes.
See, for me, I'd rather side, elite quarterbacks, you got to pay them. The guys like Daniel Jones, no. Hell no.
The mid-range quarterback
invest that much money in Daniel Jones. Like $40 million a year in Daniel Jones, and a guy that has literally proven nothing, a guy that has thrown 15 touchdowns,
he beat Kirk
7 interceptions in one season.
Like with Joe Burrow's coming available, are we really going to argue that the Bengals should get rid of Joe Burrow and take a chance on drafting a young guy?
No. Quarterbacks, you can do it because they can do more with less.
You should pay.
Average guys.
So Lamar's won an MVP. Why can't we also be in that same realm with him? Why is he any different?
I don't think Lamar is one of those guys that's dependent on his weapons. I don't think, and that's why I think he's the exception to the rule, because a guy like a Derek Carr or Daniel Jones, they're only good as what's around them. Lamar Jackson has been in a situation where he hasn't really had any weapons already, and he's had some success. Maybe not on the level that people want. He's won some playoff games, but he's been an MVP, and he's done that in a situation where all he's really had is a defense. He's never really had, like, outside of Mark Andrews, he doesn't really have these stars that are on his team that are around him, whereas these other guys, they're only as good as the guys that are around him. I learned that with Andy Dalton, right? When you get a mid quarterback and you have elite weapons around them, they look good. As soon as those weapons start to go away, the mid comes out.
So, like, is the argument that unless you think that Lamar Jackson is like a top 5 quarterback, you shouldn't sign him to the deal, Tony? Because maybe I'm not understanding your point.
Because you have to give away 2 first-round picks. You can't. It's not just you're giving him the contract. The contract is a big hindrance. Based on.
Do you think the odds are better that you draft somebody? Like, so I'll try to be fair with your argument. Yeah. So, are you saying the NFL teams might feel like the odds are better that you get somebody who, let's say, to win the Super Bowl, you need somebody in the top 12 of quarterbacks?
I would say that's
a fair bar.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're saying, so you think that it's a better odd that you draft somebody in the first round that could be a top 12 quarterback within the first 5 years of their deal versus Lamar Jackson as of right now being a top 5 quarterback within the next 5 years.
You got to be like top 5, top 3.
But listen to me. The thing with the top 12.
Oh, wait. So, like, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly. Right. I mean, and the other thing with Lamar is, remember, you bring in Lamar into a situation. Do NFL teams believe that he is a plug and play quarterback, or is he a build around quarterback? Right. Like the Ravens didn't just plug and play him into Joe Flacco's offense. They rebuilt the offense in Lamar's image. That's another part of this that I think we're not talking about either.
There's the compensation.
The compensation.
Oh, wait, more news.
DJ Moore is a part of the trade.
Yeah.
DJ Moore?
DJ Moore is part of 2 seconds and DJ Moore.
Thank God DJ Moore got out of here, dog.
Number 61, a first-round pick in 2024, a second-round pick in 2025, and DJ Moore.
Wait, hold on. Why did the Bears have to trade for a wide receiver? I thought they got a really good one last year. Didn't they already trade for a really good receiver last year, I thought?
It's your boy.
I think they gave up a first video. They gave up a pseudo
Wait, did they keep their first-round pick?
Who?
What?
Carolina, did they keep their first-round pick this year?
No. They gave up.
They're
swapping.
So what did they give up DJ Moore for in this trade?
They gave up.
They gave up number 9. They gave up another first-round pick. I'm assuming 61 is a second-round pick.
Yeah.
And then another second-round pick in 2025, and then DJ Moore. Yeah.
Whoa!
David Tepper loves
when be like Trey Lance trade. This is gonna be like Trey Lance trade, where we're gonna be like, see, look, you get less flack for making these trades for draft picks than you do if you make them for an actual player. Because everybody gonna cook the Broncos for this Russ trade. Trey Lance is getting replaced by Brock Purdy. Yeah. Like nobody is talking about that.
Let me finish some part of my argument. I will add something here that Tony said. The top 12 quarterback is only good. And the reason that we can win with a top 10, top 12 quarterback is because if you're not paying him top end of the market,
that's what I'm saying.
Now you can surround. Look,
so it widens the level of quarterback play. That's why I think the argument is you're saying you can have a wider range of quarterback play that you can find acceptable to win a championship with a quarterback under a rookie deal. With Lamar, you're betting on him to be a top 5 guy. Honestly, I've seen Lamar be top 5. I'd rather just bet on Lamar, but that's going to become there's not enough data on this. Like we haven't been doing it this long. So it's going to be a gut feeling thing. There's going to be people like me and Ace are like, I would just rather have Lamar bird in hand. But we know Tony's a gambling man, so he's going.
Again, I don't know that this
the odds at the wider range.
I don't know that this. I think both sides are gambling here. I don't think that there's like a. I don't think signing. I think if you're going to sign Lamar to the deal he wants, let's say it's 5 years, 250 fully guaranteed, right? Because that's what the rumor's been forever. Okay. Signing him to that deal is a gamble in and of itself. Man, I don't think that's any kind of sure thing.
That's what I'm saying. But you feel better about the odds because you're not projecting whether a quarterback can play in the league.
You've got Kenny Pickett right now.
Yeah.
Lamar is available.
Not for 50. Hell no.
So you rather keep Kenny Pickett?
Yeah, I'll keep Kenny. Yeah, absolutely.
Let me tell you, they lucky I'm not an owner.
Especially if I
would be lying to Jerry Jones' face right now.
50 and 2 first.
Still is on first draft.
You guys are gonna be competing.
Ace, if I were an owner,
Minka, you gave up one for Minka.
If I were an owner, we'd be in these little secret Illuminati meetings, talking about what we not going to do with Lamar, where we not going to guarantee him at. Be like, hey, he not going past 200 mil guaranteed. And I'm like, you damn right, Jerry. He not. Let me get out the room. Hey, Lamar, I got the money right here. Please come and get it before Jerry catches me. I pay you right now.
Let me
finish your stuff. Yeah.
So let me add two more things here. So the fact that, like I said, the rookie class is good, that hinders him too. The other problem, he has two more problems, I think, that's working against him. The fact that last 2 years, he finished the last quarter of the season not playing, right? As a player that you want to give fully guarantee, you want that player always to be available. Add that to the fact that was similar to what Kyler had. Kyler had nicked injuries to his first 3 years, right? Lamar plays better than Kyler, but he had
Kyler?
No, I'm saying Lamar had,
Kyler. Yeah, you're saying the injury risk, but this is what I'm saying is ridiculous that like we should never be bringing up Kyler Murray in the conversation of whether you pay Lamar Jackson.
Wait, no. This is the point that I want to make. If you think the last three quarterbacks that got paid, Deshaun Watson, Kyler Murray, and
Aaron
Russell Wilson,
okay.
right? Russell Wilson, those were the last three quarterbacks.
Yeah, you're right.
They got big money, not for the guarantee. Well, Watson did, but the other two didn't, right? And this goes back to that argument. And I'm not arguing because I don't want the Ravens to sign him. I'm more the holistic why maybe teams are not jumping to it. When you see Russell Wilson, you went and got Russell Wilson, and that got you to the 5th worst record in the league. You got Kyler Murray that you just paid. That team actually was built, right? They had weapons. They got you to the 3rd worst record in the league. And the Browns, well, let's put it in enigma because obviously he was suspended for the first 11 games. He played average, but we thought that he was going to play average because of the rust factor, right? So we don't know with the Browns. But the other two, at least, that all adds to the equation as a team is looking, if I go 5 years fully guaranteed and this thing flops in year 1, there's no way to go out of this. Like right now, the Broncos, they would love to probably get away from the Russell Wilson thing. They can't, and that's not even fully guaranteed. If something like that would happen to Lamar, which I don't think it would, but if something like that happens, maybe because of an injury or something, you can't get away from it. Now you're 5 years stuck.
This was my point about the Overton window with Lamar. Like, you can say that those are similar situations to him, but you can also make the argument that I think is very valid that Lamar is a far better quarterback than those 3 quarterbacks. Like, you can make the argument there. He's won the MVP before, right? Like, this is not, we don't have to treat him like he's in the same realm of quarterback than that older Russell Wilson, a suspended Deshaun Watson coming off a year of not playing football.
Fair.
And who else was in that mix?
Murray.
Who? Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray, who we never really thought was like ever even in a conversation with Lamar Jackson until like maybe me in 2019, but then Lamar won the MVP. Like nobody is really like comparing them on the same level. But then all of a sudden, when we're talking about the contract, we're talking about him on the level of those guys because that's how far the window got pushed on him. We should be talking about Lamar Jackson as somebody who's above all of this because we were talking about him as a top 5 quarterback like a year ago. Like he got like this is what I'm saying is a little insane. Like the fact that some people will go no brainer. You keep Joe Burrow as long as you can keep him, no matter what he wants. And then Lamar comes up and we're like, well, let's look at Kyler Murray's deal. That shouldn't be two different things to me. I don't see them as that far different level of quarterback. Honestly, I think Lamar Jackson is a little bit more plug and play than Joe Burrow because plug and play, you know what's the most plug and play ability in the world? Running and being able to make people miss you. Like you can work around everything else with him in all of his other flaws. The argument with Anthony Richardson right now is that he actually has a low floor because he can run. Like that is one of the arguments about him. So that like athleticism makes you more plug and playable than not having athletic ability. So like that's what I'm saying.
If you were to say Josh Allen was a free agent right now, you wouldn't sign him.
We wouldn't be talking about price.
First rounder.
I think if Josh,
you think Lamar? Wait, hold on. Do you think Lamar Jackson is on Josh Allen's level? You put him on that tier? I don't put him on that tier right now.
Has he ever won MVP?
Wait. Lamar is a tier 1 quarterback right now in your eyes?
I think so.
He's been a tier 1.
Okay, I see him as tier 2. He's like not on the level of like Mahomes, Burrow, Allen.
No. Mahomes is a different level than everybody.
Okay, right. But I'm just saying, like, if you're gonna put like a tier 1. Okay,
I would say like Burrow, Lamar. I think they're
Lamar is
the same
top
way.
5 quarterback. I think Lamar is a top 5 quarterback.
Yeah.
Okay, but my point.
He was at one point. I don't know if he is now.
My bigger point, Q. You're essentially saying we can't look at Kyler Murray and those. I agree. My point is, what I've been trying to say is the whole picture. It's the fact that you have a strong draft class. It's the fact that fully guarantee might hinder you for a while. It's the fact that the last 3 quarterbacks that got paid, not necessarily paid out for those teams, right? It's the fact that you have all this other data. Now, you cannot say one single point. You have to say, oh, great draft class. Well, these teams might say, instead of risking 5 years, I can draft this guy. And if he doesn't pay out, I can throw him away and go draft another.
And that's great. Like all of these things should be a factor if we're talking about like Matt Stafford in his prime getting a deal.
No,
that's what I'm saying. Like this. I think we just view these players differently at this point because if this were Tom Brady, if this were like, let's go in the past and let's say somebody like, let's say it's 2010 and Cam Newton becomes available or something like that. Like I think this is getting viewed differently. But
where do we view Lamar Jackson as a quarterback? Like, where are we saying that he's not a top 5 quarterback? Are we saying he's a top 10 quarterback?
I think you guys disagree with me. I'm saying. I
mean, if we go top 5 right now, you say Mahomes, Burrow, probably Lamar.
So let me ask you and Tony the question.
Do you think Jalen Hurts is better than Lamar Jackson?
No.
Would I rather have Jalen Hurts right now than Lamar? I would put them on the same level. Yeah, they're on the same level. They're tier 2.
Like regardless of contract, like you think they're the same level?
No. Hurts is way better. Contract putting in, I'd much rather.
No. I'm saying like regardless of contract, you're saying as a player, you think Jalen Hurts and Lamar Jackson are on the same level?
I would put them both tier 2. Probably Lamar above. If we're like ranking within the tiers, Lamar is like closer to the top of the tier. I guess.
Just name me quarterbacks better than Lamar Jackson. That'd be more efficient.
Mahomes, Burrow, Allen, Herbert.
Herbert.
Am I forgetting anybody? Yeah, Herbert. Yeah,
Herbert's a tier above Lamar.
Yeah.
Wait. Oh, for real?
Yeah. Yes. Look, Lamar Jackson has not really played that well. I think we look at what he did at the beginning of not last season, but the season before, and we're like, man, he was really good at that. But he ended that year awful before he got hurt. And then this year, are we going to say like Lamar Jackson was having a career year before he got hurt?
This year. He was inconsistent.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't think Lamar Jackson's been that dude for like a year and a half. So again, we can live in he was an MVP and he did have a great start to 2021, but 2021 ended poorly for him, and then 2022 was a mixed bag.
I agree with that, Tony. But what is his supporting cast been? What is his supporting cast?
But okay, that is.
We could argue about whether okay. So if that's how you view him, I guess the conversation makes sense. But like, I don't
hear another person after Herbert. I didn't hear anyone else after Herbert.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to go through team by team here. I don't know. We haven't done this in a year. Lawrence will be on the same level as him.
Now, the one thing, Tony looks into that.
That might be it, right? Because I mean, like, are there? This is the problem with the league. There's not been Tua. How about Tua above him? No, I'm not putting Tua.
No,
that's it, right? I think that right there is where I was stopped. So was that 5?
You said 3. You said 3.
No,
Herbert. No, I said 4. There's 4. So he would be 5. So technically, he's top 5 because I only think there's 4 tier 1 quarterbacks.
Well, I guess time will tell on this.
But my point here also, Ace, is you're right. The Ravens that had not invested in weapons, right? Receivers and all that.
Yep.
But as soon as you pay the quarterback, right, you have to pick and choose where your team's gonna get weaker. And if you're paying, and I do believe in this, if you're paying as you pay Rodgers and as you pay Mahomes and as you pay, we'll see what Allen, right? If you have that guy that is commanding a 15 to 20% of your cap, the weapons as a receivers, that's gonna be. If you have that guy, that's where you're gonna have to be weaker because O-line is what you want. You want to protect that asset. First thing, you protect that asset that you just put 20%, right? You don't want that guy injured. And the other part that guy cannot affect. That's the right word. It's the defense, right? Because he cannot affect the defense. So you need to help him on the defense. It's like But if he is that guy to elevate, then that's where Mahomes, right? Look what Mahomes did. They said,
but they still,
okay,
I get it. They didn't put the elite weaponry there, but they still put weapons around them. Like they still went out and found a Juju.
They got Outcast.
They traded
right?
for MVS. They went and drafted Sky Moore. Like
they
didn't just.
The Ravens had drafted 3 receivers for Lamar, 4, I don't know, 2 first-round picks since he has been here, right? Receiver-wise.
Well, yeah, the idea that you can't have any wide receivers because you pay a quarterback is a little bit.
You
can have one. You can have one.
You gotta have.
You can't have one. Like Antonio Brown did get paid while Big Ben was there. Like you can't have one, and then you have to draft the 2. Like where it becomes more important when you have a quarterback there is like your ability to hit on not just Pro Bowl level players, but extension level players, guys who will get extensions somewhere else. You know what I mean? Like that's where it's important
right now. The Browns still have all of their weapons. It's the way that they maneuvered the cap.
We've been doing tax law for a while.
Yeah. But it just depends on how
the cap doesn't go up 15 million one year, we in trouble. But until then, you know what I mean?
We have a bunch of super chats. Let's go through the super chats and then
I've been seeing them DeAndre Hopkins to the Browns tweets.
It can happen too. That's the crazy part. But like, dude, if the cap ever goes lower than like what is expected to go up, we are screwed. We might have to trade on Denzel Ward or something like that.
Okay, so I'm also a free agent. Do Bengals have money?
No, Viston, you want to join the Joe Burrow
Bengals?
His boy is gone now. He needs a second team.
Officially.
Wow. He's willing to change his child on the bathroom floor just to root for the Bengals. Crazy.
AFC North Talk fan tradition. Y'all remember that other one?
Oh yeah, well, yes, we do. Devin here says, you really have to try to get an F.
Oh, by the way, this is the one problem I had with the NFLPA's report. Okay, now I am married to a teacher, but there's no such thing as an F minus, guys. Like an F is an F. There's no F plus. You don't get an F plus.
Fail is a fail. Dog.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's no such thing as an F. That was a little bit.
You know what the F minus meant? Petty. That meant
exactly.
Not a single person in that locker room voted positively on him. Everybody gave him an F, dog.
They filled out the
only way you get an F minus.
Instead of the 1 through 5, they also
there's no F. There's no F minus. I'm sorry.
Like you got worse than a 0. That's what it means. You got a -0.
Okay. Cleveland M. Turney family here.
John Harbaugh was like, nah, he trash. Like he got coaches to vote for him. They went outside the NFLPA to try to find somebody to vote for him, and nobody said he was good.
Okay, so it says, y'all are amazing people. Just to let you know that and go Browns. We are used to the scrutiny and the hate, so FM. Let's just worry about our game and work hard for winning. Shout out to you. Thank you for the donation, man.
I appreciate that, bro.
And
he got you to say go Browns. He put it in the middle.
You know what I mean?
Gotcha. yeah, that's right. He did. He did get you, Sonny.
Yes, he did.
That's a little for anybody putting in super chats. Just work in your team slogan in the middle.
Yeah.
You can't avoid it.
Steve Webb here says favorite player, past and present from each AFC North rivalry.
We did this before.
Oh my God! Look at this.
We did this before. I don't know if we've done. Yeah, we did.
The Ravens. If we're talking about past,
I have players. I think we did players we hated the most from each of the. I don't know if we did our.
Anybody who played for the Ravens while Art Modell there was a Brown.
I don't have favorite. I don't have like favorite Browns. Like, I'm really fond of. You know, my favorite Brown was. Johnny Manziel was a lot of fun for the Steelers.
No, you should love Baker Mayfield. He almost got you the sack record that one year.
I don't love Baker. There's one memory, although COVID year, so it didn't count. But there is one memory of Baker I'd like to forget.
Yeah.
But COVID year didn't count.
For Pat Ricard, Steve Webb for the Ravens.
I will say, like, I don't have one for every team, but Hines Ward is so annoyingly likable that I find myself rooting for him. I'm like, I hated him.
I hated him.
I hated that smile.
I mean,
got that magnetic smile.
He be doing the same stuff he did when he was a player. He be like, they score a touchdown on him. They show the camera on the Brahma sideline, and there's Hines Ward like, hey, gotta just keep going, smiling. Why? I
was a big fan of Kyle Bowler. I was a big fan of John Kitna.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
You know who my favorite Steeler of all time is, actually? Whoever
William
the
Jackson
center
III.
was it one of the Pouncey brothers? Was it? Yeah, whichever one that dude was. Yeah, my favorite. 2020 Ben. That's my favorite Steeler of all time.
Artie Burns was good.
Favorite is
Artie,
pretty
yeah,
crazy.
poor Artie. Artie was good. Yeah.
Hey,
We
Artie
know-
Burns had
we
a
know
better
Tony's
career than
favorite,
William Jackson.
Well, he had a longer. I don't know if it was better, but he had a longer career.
The receiver. What was the receiver that came from Indy?
Oh, Dante, baby. If he's
Dante
breaking his
Moncrief.
finger. My favorite Steeler is
Lost
Dante
the whole-
Moncrief before he
lost the whole
broke his
thing.
finger in training camp. That's
Tony.
my favorite Steeler.
Tony, you know who your favorite Raven is. Right now, he's killing it in the XFL. Terrell Bonds, yes sir.
Oh yeah, Bonds. I love Bonds.
Terrell Bonds.
He's killing it.
Yeah, he's a spring league legend. You know what I mean? Him and Channing Stribling, they be springlinging it up down there. Shout out to AJ McCarron. The Bengals and the Steelers are well represented in the spring. The AFC North is well represented in the spring leagues. We got Josh Gordon out there. We got Freak
And
out there.
Martavis,
Martavius is there. He's not even
Martavis.
good in the XFL, which is crazy to me. We got former Ravens legend Brett Hundley out there. The other Hundley. We got Drew Plitt. We got AJ Macaroons out there, baby. Browns and Bengals royalty. We got them all out there. Look, I saw one of our Glenn Logan was out there eating for the Roughnecks. I was like, wow, Glenn Logan looks really good when he's not in the NFL. Like that's interesting,
Here Devin says, "What will Burrow, Herbert, Hurts come out for fully guaranteed?" I'm sure they would. I'm sure they'll try. I mean, why would they?
No, I think he's saying like they could actually help Lamar here by leaking that they also want fully guaranteed. In fact, it's an interesting thought, which is if you are Burrow and Herbert, who are likely to get extended this offseason, leak it now so that because if Lamar gets it, then it helps your case too, right? It's like it's a both sides helping each other here, right? We have to work together in tandem to get what we want.
That's one of the things I wanted to add to that Lamar thing. I think he's been too loyal because he should have did the LeBron Miami thing where he was working with another team, so it was obvious once he was available or even close to available that there was a team there that had all the stuff there for Lamar. I thought he was working with Miami for a while, but it turned out he wasn't. When you hit free agency, your plan can't just be for what you want. You got to make sure you manufacture the leverage. And he did not do that because he should have been building a relationship with another team behind the scenes. I know it's not legal, but you should be doing it if you're trying to hit the market. Agent.
That's why you have an agent. Because that agent builds
you hit the market, it'd be like, hey, Miami, just in case I become available, wink, wink. You might want to keep your first round picks, wink, wink.
Miami just lost a first round pick for talking to a quarterback without.
True. I do wonder if Lamar.
Because they're stupid. Everybody else does it. It doesn't get called. Okay.
True. That's why Brian Flores is like, I got to get the hell out of here. I do wonder if Lamar, because Lamar doesn't have an agent, you do wonder if that moment he gets that non-exclusive tag, and then all of a sudden, his phone's not ringing off the hook for deals. It's more like we're not interested. I wonder if he was blindsided by that. Because with an agent, obviously he would not have been blindsided by that. His agent would have known, hey, this is what the market's going to be for you. Mm-hmm. We'll never know.
I think that conversation looks like they have been cordial, both sides, even though they haven't agreed. And I think that conversation probably went the cost.
The Ravens and Lamar?
Yeah.
I heard Rich Eisen said he heard at the combine that it is ugly as hell between those two. Now that was a rumor from the combine.
I would imagine.
I would imagine that too.
It doesn't get the non-exclusive tag. That's one of them things. Well, you think you can get that here? Get it. That's basically what the non-exclusive tag is.
But if you, in theory, if you're Lamar, other than be completely free, right? The non-exclusive gives you the right to talk to whoever you want, right? So the Ravens could, in theory, say to him look, we can't agree right now. Maybe you're right. And here's the way. This is my point. A month ago, right? That the Ravens would allow Lamar to talk to people, right? The Ravens are saying, maybe Lamar, you are correct. Yeah. Here is your ability to talk to whoever you want. We don't have to be there. We don't even have to give you permission. You can go, right? If I put the exclusive, now I can have to give you permission. But with the non-exclusive, you go. And if you find it, and if we can match it, we'll match it, and you can stay with us, and you are right.
But what does that do as far as Lamar Jackson? Say he doesn't get a deal at all. He's still going to be pissed at you.
Well, it's
Is he gonna
actually
wanna
Yeah,
play?
well, it gets real ugly if he doesn't get the deal he
It's
wants.
gonna get really ugly.
Well, I think no matter
It's
what,
gonna
and,
get
and
really
it's like,
ugly.
what if
On
he
the
feels
back.
like he didn't get the deal he wants because he felt like there was a force of owners that were trying to enforce a certain line against him,
Right, the
and he feels
collusion
like
thing.
you were a part of it.
Yeah, I don't think there's okay.
Like I just,
I
it's
don't feel
hard
like
to
there's
play that
collusion
game
because
because there's so many
very-
ways it can go. That like
Yeah.
the mental side of it, I have no idea because I'm not in there negotiating Lamar's contract. I don't know what he's feeling, but
Yeah.
as far as like the compensation, I think the conversation is how many teams think Lamar, like me and Ace, feel like is one of those top 5 guys. You get him, you're a game
No,
changer.
technically he's top 5 in my book too. He's 5th, just not
He's
tier
not
1.
5.
Okay.
Yeah, he is
Tier
top 5.
1. Let's go
because Aaron
tier
Rodgers and
1,
Tom
tier
Brady don't
1
exist
guys.
anymore.
Let's go tier 1. Let's just say tier 1, right? So let's say what GMs feel like you get this dude, you can run with him. You're going to get to a Super Bowl because you have this dude versus teams that feel like, hey, he's somebody who's going to be really good at quarterback, but like, I don't know if he's the difference maker if we can't put a lot around, put a decent amount around him. That's, I think, what the conversation is, and that's hard for him to have right now when he doesn't have an agent because there's nobody consistently calling these guys and selling the pitch to him. Hey, Lamar, you remember he did this and this, and hey, look, understand those last 2 years he was playing injured. Like I'm shocked that none of that's come out with Lamar about like, oh, he's been playing the last 2 years bothered by a foot injury and he's going to actually get that fixed. And it was partly because the Ravens gave him bad medical advice. Like you got to start playing war right now, dog. Like that's what I don't think he has in him. And he's almost being too polite.
It's hard to go to war if you don't have an army. And he doesn't have it.
This is what I'm saying. You can't win a fight if you're trying to play on both teams. You know what I mean? Like you got to just go hard at one point to win a fight. And that's where it's like he don't really have that in him or not in him. He don't have that with him in his representation because you're just not seeing it out there. Like we're not seeing no Raven slander. He had a perfect opportunity to drop that Raven slander when that NFLPA report came out. And he ain't dropped nothing on top of that. Let me tell you something, man. If I was somebody who had 2 bad years on the Ravens, I would be out here lying about my injuries right now, talking about, I had a knee injury that they diagnosed wrong. I would be getting on top of that because now you can have a reason to negotiate and be like, oh, those numbers don't matter because of this. There's no leverage plays being made here by him. And this is why I think this is going to go out well because I don't know what the leverage is for him, but it's clear that like it hasn't been manufactured because when I was saying this 2 years ago, I thought he was with the assumption that he was trying to work something out with somebody else to make it match up. But like, nobody was like in this plan with him. So, this is why I say it's harder for teams to do it because now it's kind of on a whim. Hey, are we going to go out and get Lamar Jackson? Last year with the Browns, it was a perfect match of opportunity Pat versus Baker Mayfield just stunk the bed last year. And we trying to win right now. Plus Deshaun Watson's available. That was very fortunate for Deshaun Watson. That opportunity has not popped up for Lamar Jackson this time. And for a player of Lamar Jackson's caliber, or at least somebody who's trying to get paid on the level he is, you got to manufacture that.
Yeah.
Okay. Teams don't want LJ because he sat out of a potential Super Bowl run.
I don't think
Brady, Mahomes, Stafford, not on a rookie deal. Oh yeah, so we.
But Brady is the
not
ultimate.
a win. It's not a win. It's a go-to. Go to Super Bowl. There's always been a rookie.
Yeah, but Brady also his cap number.
Yeah, you can hit the percentage of cap argument with that, but
yes, exactly. So I put all this data and basically you're on a 12% or less cap hit. And those are like the outliers. But if you're in the 12%, there's like 5 that have made an attempt last 10 years. I think the average
you need a top quarterback, and the more you pay him, the better you need that quarterback to be, right?
Exactly.
We're arguing about what the threshold is for the payment, right? Yeah. So for Tom Brady was good enough to make 20% of the cap for his entire career versus 30% of the cap and still get there all the time. Like, obviously you need good quarterbacks, but it's like, at what percentage does it actually do you harm? For a guy like Pat Mahomes, I imagine it could be like 60. Like it feels like that because like, dog, the Eagles were so much better in that game. Like what, we ain't even talking about Super Bowl no more. But anyways, like I think that's the argument that we're having. Not just like
10-1.
Not just specifically the number that you pay the quarterback, but like how high is that quarterback's play relative to that? And I think you'll figure that out. I wish PFF grades were a little bit more like reliable because then you could do a correlation with PFF grade and cap percentages and teams.
They are reliable. What do you mean?
Oh yeah,
they're always bad.
Miles Garrett's better than TJ Watt for the last 3 years.
Bad. They're always bad.
Oh,
reliably bad. They're reliably bad.
Yeah, I wish they were more reliable in the you could trust them. You know what I mean? Like you could trust them to be representative of what you see on the field.
Okay, so Anime here says, I'm calling it now. We're going to see the Panthers trade that first overall pick to Baltimore for Lamar Jackson. But you saying that, you know what? It could happen now.
The Ravens are going to draft Will Anderson.
Listen to this. Listen to this, guys. Can you imagine if now that they have all these draft picks, the Bears go and say, we can give the 2 first for Lamar, sign him, and then go take Justice Fields, flip it for another second or something like that. And now they
trade him to the Ravens. This was my original.
No, not to the Ravens, not to the Ravens, but just flip it to somebody else. And
all right, but then you end up with Will Levis. All right, but then if you have 9 and you need a quarterback, that's Will Levis territory.
Nah. We already have a Pro Bowler.
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
JK, no way. I'm rooting for the Bengals. I'm heading to Bay.
I'm rooting for the Bengals.
Yeah. Wait, so which
How
Bay
are you going to go from cheering for the greatest quarterback of all time to potentially cheering for Jimmy Garoppolo?
No. Bay is also Tampa Bay. So I don't know. Is it the Bay?
No, he's going like nobody says the Bay and says Tampa Bay outside of Florida. He's talking about
Oakland. The Raiders aren't in Oakland.
He's talking about
what are we doing?
I don't know
the Bay Area.
Yeah, that's true.
The Bay Area,
the
San Francisco
Stadium is like not even close to San Francisco. Also, I am in Florida, so insane. The Bay.
Yeah, I know. When you say the Bay to anybody else, we talk about the Bay Area. He talk about cheering for Jimmy Garoppolo after watching Tom Brady.
I thought you were a Ravens fan, Nova Stone. What happened?
Nova Stone is a fan,
and also he was a Ravens fan who didn't like Lamar, and now they're on the verge of losing. I mean, like,
and he's leaving.
Yeah, this is a perfect storm for Nova Stone because Brady's retired, but now his team
who's the least mobile quarterback in the NFL? That's who Nova Stone gonna root for.
Matt Stafford?
Yeah, he gonna go for Matt Stafford. He gonna go for the slowest, most immobile quarterback. You know what I mean?
Jared Goff? No,
Jared Goff.
For him.
Kirk Cousins?
Kirk Cousins ran decent.
Did he?
I think Stafford's probably the slowest right now.
Stafford's old and he wasn't ever fast.
Yeah. That's what I'm going with.
I mean, that's the thing. Okay, but taking Stafford out because he's gonna retire. Who else?
Who's slower than him? They don't let quarterbacks play in NFL that are slower than Matt Stafford anymore. Tua's not slow.
No, Tua's not slow.
Tua's not. Dude's not fast.
Tua's sub-5 though. Like we're talking about 5 flat 40 guys. Like Tua's still an athlete.
Who's
the most unathlete quarterback in the NFL right now?
What is the oldest quarterback in the Jimmy Garoppolo?
If Rodgers is still in, it'll be Rodgers. If it's not, is it Russ?
Damn, that's crazy. That's crazy that Aaron Rodgers is like in the conversation for least. He used to be like the most athletic quarterback.
He can still move though.
Well, it's all
way better than Stafford.
You hit 4-0, and
that's.
I'll just say as someone who's about to be 4-0, your body doesn't react as well anymore.
Thank you. You made me feel old. That made me feel old. Wow. Okay. Oh, Matt Ryan, but he's retired.
He's about to at least.
It's probably him.
Yeah.
Okay. Big shout out to the top tier patrons here: Adam Holland, Dom Gasula, Luis Cousins, Leo Sell, and Ray Rack. Shout out to all of you. Thank you for supporting.
Is Nick Foles still in the NFL?
Yes, but he's
on the Colts.
But he's not a starter. The Colts might have the slowest QB room.
So they're going to draft Will Levis then. When you think about their archetype of like they had Phillip Rivers, they got Matt Ryan, they also had Nick Foles. Like they are drafting Will Levis.
I wouldn't rule out Hendon Hooker. You know what I mean? Like try to save money.
Look. Here it is. The clarification.
Okay, there it is. All right. He's going to the West Coast bag.
Brock
Didn't he get Tommy John's?
That's definitely Nova Stone's brand. Yeah, Brock
not
Purdy.
Tommy John's.
Okay.
Not Tommy. That's why I said it.
Ben elbow. Okay.
Boy, is Nova Stone gonna be
deal with this.
Nova Stone gonna be furious when they start Trey Lance week 1.
Not Tommy John is what he had.
It's Tommy John.
Did he have Tommy John? I don't think he did. Right? He did.
It is
the other
same thing.
He had a Tommy John like surgery.
Yeah.
It's elbow surgery.
It's Tommy John adjacent.
He'll throw in 3 months. If it was Tommy John, you can't throw in 3 months on Tommy John, guys.
We said that about AP coming back, right? You know, remember he was the first to come back on the ACL injury in like 8 months. We was like, no way. No way.
Why do they always say surgery is successful? Why do they always say surgery was successful? Surgery's not successful until they get out there and try, and then they figure out that the surgery.
Well, like they reattach the tendons
because we reattached the part. You know what I mean? Like,
well, imagine if the surgery was like
the recovery is a different story. You know what I mean? Like the recovery is not the surgery.
Surgery should always be successful.
Like, I gotta get surgery again. So it's
just a waste of money. Like you just got cut open for no reason. You know how bad I was if somebody split me open? Was like, hey dog, we ended up not doing it. What? Nah, dog, open that back up. What you doing before it get hard? Like, stop.
Anyway, let's move on from the Lamar Jackson saga. Right? It's just we've been here for an hour.
Let's move on from it. Is it July yet?
We'll move on with it. When
it was you guys that I sent a message saying like I'm hoping we don't come back and then we're still talking about Lamar Jackson. I want this to be over.
Well,
yeah.
And I was like, yeah, Sonny, get ready to take that hoodie off, dog. Get ready. Wait till this goes from Lamar
Where's the Lamar
Are we not flipping the logo out until
where's the Lamar? Oh, it's down. Sonny put it down.
Yeah, somebody actually moved this back.
Are we not changing the logo out until Lamar gets traded or
no, the logo
they'll stay in the L. The Ravens stay in the L.
Ravens are taking the L right now.
Yeah, they are. It's an accurate logo.
I'm fine with the logo as it is.
Yeah, I mean, of course.
And I think since this, never mind. I'll wait till next week to say that.
Okay. Well, free agency is coming. Ravens can sign anybody. We right now are over the cap.
When does tampering start? Is it like Sunday?
13th.
I think it is Sunday. Yeah.
I got it all on my calendar.
Does anybody expect their team to be a part of legal tampering?
Oh yeah, the Browns are definitely going to be in that conversation.
Oh. Well, they got to start restructuring now, right? No, I guess they can wait.
They're 100% restructuring Deshaun Watson from what I'm hearing. Yeah. And it might be David Njoku, Amari Cooper might get an extra year locked on for a restructure. They're gonna move it around.
Interesting. Are the Bengals? I know the Bengals. Like right now, if we're looking at just cap space right now, the Bengals have the most of any team.
We do have the most from. What I've been hearing, it might be a approach of not actually UFAs, but maybe like some of the guys that got cut. If they do go after UFAs, I heard that it's like 1 year Super Bowl like deal. Like if you want to have a chance to play for a Super Bowl,
super team time.
Yeah.
Hey, are y'all doing the comp pick thing? I remember the Browns were doing this where it was like we would only sign free agents that were cut from other teams.
We used to do
that way or some way.
We used to do that all the time until like recently. Like we didn't do it last year. We kind of pick and choose when we do it. It used to be a thing where, like you just said, we didn't do it because we didn't want it to count against us for the comp pick formula.
Yep,
but I think they still, because I think it's like you have to wait until like week 3 for UFAs, and then you can.
No, if you actually want a comp thing, you have to wait until like May, right?
Yeah, it's like crazy. I remember we used to hate it in Cleveland.
The Steelers do that all the time. Yeah.
And it netted us Dwayne Bowe and a bunch of mid.
Well, I mean, the Bengals could get a third out of Jesse Bates, right? I mean,
they the 49ers like 3 third-round comp picks. What was that even for?
Because they lost the coaches. Yeah, it's all the coaches stuff. The Browns got a third for a coach as well, or for a GM, right?
Yeah. The Browns, they get a lot of comps that way. I think that's what the strategy has been towards more. It's like, okay, well, he's going to hire diverse people, and hopefully they do good, and then they get hired away, and then you can get some comp picks that way. I think that's kind of replaced the old let's sign the aging vet right off of his release kind of deal. I think that's replaced that strategy.
Interesting to see if the Steelers can make a bunch of cap space, but I don't know.
Did y'all get a comp for Brian Flores getting a promotion?
No, we don't. You only had him for 1 year. You have to have him for 2. That was pretty much when they signed him to be a linebacker coach. It was like, well, hopefully you can keep him for 2 because you get the comp pick, but he deserved. I mean, he doesn't. This guy's the guy who deserves to be a head coach.
You weren't keeping him too. That was
there's no way. Like, why would he stay as the linebacker coach for the Steelers? I mean, they could potentially promote him to like an assistant head coach type of deal this year. But
it was we all kind of knew it was like kind of a hey man, kick it here while you get your stuff settled and then
Exactly.
move into your actual place. And then honestly, that DC job's probably like what a 1-2 year venture for him. Like,
yeah, he'll be a head coach again. Yeah.
Where'd he went?
He went to Minnesota.
Minnesota.
They needed him.
Yeah.
He's stuck.
Oh my goodness.
God, that defense.
But you saw Sedarius was out.
Do you think that? Do you think Daniel Jones like sends like a portion of his contract to Minnesota just as a thank you? Like he just give him an extra.
That's crazy to me. That they looked at Daniel Jones and was like, yeah, man, let's give him his money. Like that.
Daniel Jones put up like 900 yards against the Vikings.
Hold on, let me ask you guys because I had this debate on Spaces in the Bengal space.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel Jones isn't better than Baker Mayfield, right?
Was he better? Like
Baker Mayfield didn't get his.
Daniel Jones' best season is not as good as Baker Mayfield's best season, in my opinion.
I don't think he's better than him.
I think they're exactly the same. Yeah.
I think
both
right now Daniel Jones has more confidence, so he will play better if he played like this week than Baker Mayfield would. Because I think Baker's lost a lot of confidence, and that really affects quarterbacks that aren't really that talented like him. But like if we're talking about peak for peak, which Daniel Jones versus Baker Mayfield, we're not talking about mountains here. Then yeah, I would take Baker Mayfield's 2020 over like what Daniel Jones did this year. I think they probably go further. Well, they probably go just as far, but they look a little bit more impressive offensively if they had like peak Baker operating in there, which is like, this is why I'm like, hey, Browns fans, we could have been paying $40 million for Baker Mayfield if things would have went a little bit differently.
Yep.
I do think
honestly, it was very close because it was a point where I was almost advocating for it.
True. I think with Daniel Jones, I think he's got a better head on his shoulders, so I could see him not collapsing in the way that Baker did. But I still think I think the Giants are going to regret that contract.
But
it's like Daniel Jones seems like a nicer person.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's going to change whether he plays well or not. Like he seems more likable.
I don't think the collapse will be as spectacular.
Yeah, he's not going to write a letter or anything. Like he's going to be a professional
on his team. I don't think he's going to quit on his team after giving up the sack record.
Yeah. And announce it in the press conference, and then like somehow talk everybody into the fact that he did not quit on the team there. Like that was hilarious.
Yeah, I think they're about the same age. You were asking. I think they're about the same type of player.
Yeah, I would put Daniel Jones right there with Lamar. Yeah, I think those two.
Oh my god!
Just to bring it back to an earlier.
We need to bring back this. We need to bring back this. The mute button.
The mute because you cut off a great. They have the same number of playoff wins. They have the same number. And they both beat.
You remember what people were saying? Daniel Jones technically registered higher on the miles per hour than Lamar Jackson, so he's more.
True. You really want to build around a guy like Daniel Jones.
We need to mute Tony. We need to.
Actually,
Sonny, I have a question about the Ravens and how they're.
It was actually Wink that was making the Ravens off.
Get ready, Kenny Pickett, $50 million a year.
Yeah, well, I mean, after we won 2 Super Bowls,
well, no, the way inflation's going, it might be $60 million for Kenny Pickett.
He's got 4 more years left, so he wins. Let's say he wins 3 of the next 4. I would say probably with Tomlin and TJ and Mink all playing at a high level because Cam's going to retire, so you got to reload after that year. Yeah, I think he's got 3 between them. $50 million is a small price.
So what are you going to ask me?
All right, so sorry. The Ravens, how are they approaching this free agency? Because it's a weird. I mean, quarterback.
Yeah, I can tell you, they're gonna lose shit. They can't do anything.
They got to clear some cap space, right?
This is my problem. They're very close to just being under. But my problem with the whole Lamar thing has been the reason why I said we need to either trade him or sign him before the 15th is because, and I'm gonna say what I said, and I know some people here are gonna get offended. I said, you are on the risk of being the Cleveland Browns.
Wow.
You don't want to be there.
Wow. You were the Cleveland Browns, Sonny. Have respect for where you came from. You were the Cleveland Browns.
You are the Browns, yeah.
Technically, you were.
But what I'm saying.
Always have been. Always have been. It's a rebrand, really.
It's just different colors.
It's just
honestly, it's like that with the whole division.
Like the Hornets when they became the Bobcats. It's just a rebrand.
Right.
Like this whole division minus the Steelers is just a monument to the Cleveland Browns' dysfunction in management.
I know. There's a reason why we've had so much success.
Like literally, Art Modell created this whole division minus the Steelers.
Yep. It should be in the Hall of Fame. Create a division.
It's a great point.
Be in the Hall of Fame.
The Art Modell North.
Oh wait. Wait, going back to the Ravens though, right? Because I mean, they have, obviously, I think Peters is getting. Is he a free agent or is he getting cut?
No, he's a free agent, and
he's gone.
He's gone. After the season, they almost alluded to that. They're like, there's gonna be, especially if we're bringing in Lamar, there's changes. There's people that we need to let go. They were drafted 2 corners last year. I wouldn't be surprised if they draft another corner this year.
Right.
So yeah,
I'm almost afraid to bring this up, but I will bring it up.
Traded. Chuck Clark got traded.
Yeah, I saw Chuck Clark, but that makes sense because they got Kyle Hamilton.
The Joker.
He wasn't the Joker.
I thought that was Deshaun. That was the Joker.
Yeah, Deshaun.
Deshaun. So the Joker's been gone. Okay.
Joker's been gone. Yeah, Joker's been gone. Okay, wide receiver with Baltimore. I mean, they were at OBJ's workout. I know. It's always. I don't know why. Like, there's a position group we bring up, and it's immediately
the conversation starts, and we were at Odell Beckham's workout. We were at Odell Beckham's with the team last year.
So, I mean, are they looking at a free agent wide receiver? Is that a possibility?
No, there's a rumor that the Ravens are very interested in Lazard from Green Bay.
Alan Lazard? Okay.
But the problem is, doesn't matter what receivers out there, right? If you're a receiver, you're looking Baltimore, it's like, who's your quarterback? You don't know, right?
Right.
But unless the Baltimore Ravens are willing to overpay for any of these receivers, which I think they're not, I don't expect them to sign anybody that is not like somebody is looking for a close to a vet minimal.
Yeah, I mean, I think like a Juju type.
Unless somehow, right, in the next between now and the 15, Lamar gets signed by the Ravens, or Lamar gets traded by the Ravens, and you have more clarity. Because if Lamar gets traded by the Ravens, now you have 34-something million open cap space, right?
It was going to be a great defense.
But yeah, so the problem is the limbo of Lamar will not allow you to do anything. Not even offense, defense, whatever. You're becoming the Browns.
Wow. Just, pointed attack at the Cleveland Browns who, can we at least say, like, look, the Browns have not been not planning what they're going to do with this money. They've just been spending what people think is too much money. Like, we got the opposite problem.
The pass Browns. The Browns are the now. I like what the new AB.
You know what they call the pass Browns? The Ravens. You know what I mean? Like, that's what they call the pass Browns. The Ravens.
Like 2000 to a couple of years Browns. I'm talking about the Ofer Browns.
Can we say the Commanders?
So the Baltimore used to have the coach too. How does that work? How does all of that work?
The Baltimore.
You know how that works? They a hoochie mama city. You know what I mean? They just jumping from team to team, franchise to franchise, logo to logo, history to history. You know what the Ravens, Baltimore, the city of Baltimore to a football team is that dude who says, I'm just their friend. That's what the city of Baltimore is. He that dude trying to creep up on your team. So if you got a team that you like, keep them away from Baltimore because Baltimore be out here trying to steal your girl. Done did it twice.
Your girl comes here and gets a ring.
See, that's how they be saying. Oh yeah, I got the money. Hey, we gonna get right. You messing with that scrub by the lake. Yeah, you see how they do you. And the next thing you know, you playing with Tim Couch at quarterback while they got Ray Lewis and Ed Reed. That's what he
renewed the vows, Sonny.
Another one, Tim Couch, another one of my favorite Browns. OG, by the way.
Yeah. Okay, Baltimore, the whole city listens to Trey songs. You can't trust one of them. You know what I mean? You can't trace one of them.
All right. I got this. Should we each go? Being that the next time we get together, free agency will have started. Our teams will probably have signed some players and whatnot. Should we go around and say, like, if there's one free agent you could have, right, that's realistic for your team by the next time we get together, who would it be?
Javon Hargrave.
No, I won't allow that. That's not allowed.
You want
Pick another one.
That is a big possibility. I actually think
that's not allowed.
I don't like that one. He's too good.
You don't like that one? Why?
Also, how the hell can the Browns afford Javon Hargrave? He's going to be like the number one paid D lineman.
How do we afford anything? Every time we've signed a player for the last 3 years, we've had the same question be asked. How do we afford
remember when you said, how are the Browns able to keep it together? Like, if they signed Javon Hargrave, that shit's falling apart in like 2 years. I give it 2 years.
We rich. You know what I mean? We got the most money in it. We willing to spend the most in the division. You know, that's just what it is. Javon Hargrave. I'm shooting high. I know Jimmy. I know Jimmy willing to spend it. You know, Jimmy going to figure it out.
All right. Look, so we have the new Dan. So Dan Snyder's in our division. That's good.
No. Dan don't spend the money. Well, Dan don't spend the money no more.
Have you ever heard of a guy named Albert Hainsworth? He spends the money.
After Albert Hainsworth, he stopped spending the money, though.
In our situation, it's kind of hard to say. So I'll give one that I pretty much feel is realistic because I don't know who's trying to play for a contender. So I'll say Von Bell. And if I had to say one that I hope that they can pull off, if he wants to win a ring, Yannick Ngakoue. On a 1-year deal.
Yeah, Yannick will be good because Yannick in a 4-3 is where it excels.
Yeah, that would be.
Imagine Yannick next to Javon Hargrave and Myles Garrett. We might get them both. You know what I mean? Let's get them. And Arden Key. Let's get Arden Key too.
The Browns. Can we all agree? Please let the Browns sign Allen Robinson next week.
The trade. That's why I put that trade.
Yeah, you get Javon Hargrave and Yannick Ngakoue. You can sign whoever the hell. You can sign Baker Mayfield. Sorry ass back. I don't care.
You're not. Listen, you're gonna get Allen Robinson on a cheap deal now.
It's a bargain. You know what I mean?
Bargain basement offer.
Look, we got a new Allen Robinson because if we go one player I don't want us to sign, y'all know who it is. It's Jesse Bates. I'm not trying to spend that money on Jesse.
Please.
Nah, that's the realistic one, bro.
We set the safety market. Do it.
Okay, this is what I'm gonna say. Let's ask the question different. What example? What player would you not want? Let's start with the Bengals. What play for the other three? What player would you not want the Bengals to go after in free agency?
The Bengals not to go after?
Yeah. I have one.
Mitchell Wilcox.
Orlando
Mitchell
Brown.
Wilcox. Do not bring him back.
Orlando Brown. If they overpay for Orlando Brown, I might be okay.
No, I would want them to go after Orlando Brown because I know Miles can get around them feet, baby. Like you keep the same problem that we keep with Jonah Williams. You know what?
Pay Orlando Brown so we don't have to watch Jamar and T. Higgins for the next.
I will say, honestly, with the Bengals, it's not who I don't want them to attain more as is who do I want them to put them in position to lose? And it's T. Higgins. I've talked about this with other people. Jamar Chase is like, yes, he's the best wide receiver on the team. T. Higgins is like the one that annoys you the most. Like, it's kind of like we were talking about Hines Ward, where it's like you do everything you can to cover everything the Steelers got. And here comes Hines Ward with a 20-yard catch on 3rd and 19. And it's annoying. Like, T. Higgins just does that stuff. I would love for the Bengals to no longer have T. Higgins because T. Higgins, he's the one. Like, he's the one where it's like, oh, if T. Higgins is out and it's only Jamar, I feel like, okay, yeah, we could do that. But if T. Higgins is in, dog, like I'm not making any definitive statements because he can do some annoying things and people underestimate him a lot because he's not Jamar Chase, but he is annoying, especially when it comes to sustaining drives. He's annoying. Like anything that would get him out of position to keep T. Higgins, I'm all for. Anything, if they want to trade DJ Reader, I'm all for it because that man was playing at a different level at the end of last year. So yeah, those two. Honestly, the only player I want them to keep is Jonah Williams because we need to keep that. Keep it stable.
Oh my God,
I like Jonah.
You know what? Versus pressure argument around Jonah Williams. Well, he doesn't give up many pressures. Gave up 13 sacks.
There you go. He's not. I mean, you gotta keep.
Hey, look, he's efficient. When he gets beat, he gets beat. He don't be playing around getting kind of beat.
I guess my question was more current free agents in the market. What free agents would you not want?
That's where I'm like, it's a hard question for me to say with the Bengals because I don't know what else.
I would say I don't want.
Yeah, I mean,
to go to the Ravens, but I kind of do. Because OBJ
never
the Wolves.
Why would he come here?
Because y'all gonna offer him a contract, dog. That's why he would come here. Like, this isn't like Odell need the job right now, dog. Like, this is
not 20
he ain't got a bunch of offers. Like, people are monitoring the situation, but it's not like he's gonna like get a crazy market here. If you offer him, he's probably like just as likely to sign wherever you are versus anywhere else. I think the only place he definitely doesn't sign is Cleveland because he got horrible memories here.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it would be obviously Jesse Bates or Jermaine Pratt signing with anybody in the division. I don't
Pratt
think I
to the Steelers
Pratt
to the Steelers is not on. It's not.
That feels like it's going to happen.
It's not unrealistic. Yeah.
That feels like a thing. Like Jermaine Pratt honestly sounds like a Steeler.
Yeah. I had another Steelers.
Kind of like how Javon Hargrave sounds like a Brown. You know what I mean?
Javon Hargrave's coming home, baby. Javon Hargrave, come home.
To Cleveland.
Come on back.
Cleveland.
We won't play at nose. We won't play at nose every freaking play like morons. Okay, we'll actually play you.
Do you think, Tony? Do you think the Steelers go after a guy like Bradbury or
James Bradbury at corner?
No, y'all had Javon Hargrave for how many years?
We're trading for Jalen Ramsey. Haven't you heard? We're trading for Jalen Ramsey. What are you talking about?
No, okay.
I think realistically, the Steelers could be big spenders if they wanted to be. Totally new GM. They brought in Andy Weidel, new personnel guy. If they did that, I would if they're going to spend a bunch of money, I would expect that money is going to go to a guy like Tremaine Edmonds, potentially. I would expect that it's going to go to an interior D lineman like a Javon Hargrave, potentially. That's where I think they spend their money.
Brothers together.
I think if they're going to spend money at corner, they'll probably just re-sign Cam Sutton. And then, I mean, in all likelihood, they're going to draft a corner too.
The city
of Emmanuel Forbes. Stay away from him. Stay away from Emmanuel Forbes.
I'm a big.
You know who's the one guy I don't want the Ravens to sign?
Who's that?
Lamar Jackson.
Lamar Jackson. I mean, $50 million. See, to me, it's like,
Nah. I've seen that man come off the toilet and beat us in the game in the fourth quarter. Nah, I'm good, dog. I'm good.
I don't remember the last time Lamar Jackson beat the Steelers. I'm pretty sure Duck was playing.
See, look, this is the perspective that allows you to have this view on the situation, because you talk about all these times. I'm like, nah, I've seen this man come off the Pookie Scoot and beat us. Like, I'm good. I know what that's like. Nah,
I think the 50 mils, whatever, he should get the 50. I think everything will go back to how much guarantee. Yeah. Okay.
This is a fantastic super tweet, by the way.
There were two teams. Shout out to you, Mike. There were two teams that were named the Browns moved to Baltimore. The Ravens and the Orioles. By the way, Tony, my favorite Steeler is Mark Malone.
Okay, this is an incredible pull on Mike's part, but now I need to know how old he is. Does anyone know the year that Mark Malone was drafted in?
No,
Mark Malone, terrible Steeler quarterback. Terrible Steeler quarterback.
There were two.
That feels like the 70s, like right after Terry Bradshaw.
Right after Bradshaw, correct. He was drafted in 1980.
Yeah, I mean,
so I know the Orioles play in Baltimore forever.
Man, let's just call Baltimore what it is. They a stepdad city. You know what I mean? They always got somebody new rolling in town. Like, it's just, that's what's going on with them. Just stepdaddies. That's what it is. Ladies, if you're watching this, if your man says he's from Baltimore, don't trust him. He cheating.
Hey, they get the ring. That's all I'm saying. They get the ring.
Got the ring, but looking for the next thing. Oh yeah, unloyal city.
Just to put it, as long as we're talking about rings, just to put a wrap on the conversation we've been having today about paying a quarterback and how bad that is for your Super Bowl chances. After Burrow gets extended and Lamar re-signs with the Ravens, the one team in the division capable of winning the Super Bowl for the next 5 years is my Pittsburgh Steelers.
Can we talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers being Mike Thomas supposed to be a genius, but then he had Javon Hargrave playing in the.
We're the only Super Bowl contender.
Would that cement Kenny Pickett as the fourth best quarterback in the division for the next 4 years?
Fourth best?
Yeah,
fourth best. Did he?
Honestly, it depends on what they do.
When he went, hold on. Kenny Pickett, when he went head to head against the worst quarterback in the division, did he throw 2 interceptions, or was that the other guy? Just one.
Not in this.
Who threw 2 interceptions?
How many Kenny Pickett throwing?
When they went head to head.
Legitimately asking, how many touchdowns did he?
Who looked like a rookie? Who stared down the middle of the field like a rookie would?
I'm pretty sure Kenny Pickett threw some interceptions in that game, right? No, he did it. He was 1 touchdown.
He had one. Yeah. Well, of course, he had the one to Pickens, baby.
Oh yeah. It wasn't Deontay. Deontay went without it.
Touchdown. I said
it wasn't to Deontay because he didn't score a touchdown.
No, that's right. It was not to Deontay. It was definitely not to Deontay.
Again, this will be fun during.
I had as many touchdowns this year as Deontay.
Yeah, we all AFC North talk combined.
Yeah.
Look, Tony, you get graded. There you go.
Well, like I said, I don't take any offense to this because here's the thing. That's a fake grade. There's no such thing as F-. So
it's only F.
By the way, shout out to the 1 pass fail rule in public colleges. That was a lifesaver. You know what I mean? You get the 1 pass fail every semester. Whew, as long as it's not your major, it got me through my Spanish requirement. Let me tell you that.
Yeah, what is that? I've never heard of.
You never heard of that? Oh yeah, you could take 1 class pass fail each semester as long as it's not in your major. So for your like gen eds, so let's say you're terrible at math and you feel like you can only get a C in math, but you don't want to ruin your grade point average, you take it pass fail. All of a sudden, as long as you pass, it don't matter. It counts as a pass on your thing. Also, it's good for online classes where you could just get the whole rubric and I need 800 points to pass the class. Once I get to 800 points, baby, I'm not opening that black book for the rest of the year, dog. Like, see, look, I'll give it that knowledge to the young people in the chat. You ever go to college, make sure you take advantage of your 1 pass fail class you get a semester.
Never.
So you're saying I passed today.
Puerto Rico,
one other thing. One other thing we should talk about here. We'll do it on the air. We could talk about this off air, but we should do it on air. The quarterback ranking show, which is usually how we lead it off. And this year's show should be a fun one.
Do we have to delay it until we know who the quarterback is?
We have to delay it until we figure out who the hell is going to play quarterback for Baltimore.
Like, when are we going to do
So it's funny. I just want you to know that your team is holding up the best ranking show.
Yeah, we're going to be like, hey, what the hell, Baltimore? Now it's affecting us.
He has been tagged, so he's under contract.
Right, but this is like a Le'Veon situation now, where it's if there's not clarity by that deadline, is he actually going to play on the tag? Because all of a sudden we're getting to a point where,
you know what we're not introducing to that show? If and or rankings. No, dog. It is, because we could do that all day. No, it is what it is on the roster right now. You know,
that's crazy though, because if that's the case, then rankings are probably going to end up being what, Burrow, Pickett, Watson, and then whoever the Ravens have.
I'm not taking the bait, man. You know,
crazy.
I can tell you right now.
Third on, I'm looking cool. I'm not taking the bait. Tony. No, you're not gonna get me like that.
That's crazy.
That starts, you know, the first
thing Higgins is the second best quarterback in the AFC North.
Let's start the top rank, right? The top two has to have at least Pro Bowl last year, right? It has to, you know.
Well, they have to have winning records.
He's
they have to have winning
Pro
records.
Bowl.
The top two have to have winning records. Let's say that does rule out a certain quarterback in this, and actually it rules out two quarterbacks.
I like your style.
So we can start with that, and then
Hey, we are very, very disrespectful to the Pro Bowl passing leaders, the passing game high score in the accuracy challenge.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? That man killed it.
Oh, we're talking about having a Pro Bowl quarterback. We got a backup Pro Bowl quarterback, baby. I mean, Mitch Trubisky was a Pro Bowler, dog. Don't even worry about that. You want to talk about a Pro Bowl? We got a Pro Bowler sitting behind our All Pro.
Yeah, that was years ago. We're talking about last year.
I mean, listen, years ago. I mean, what are we talking about? Mitch Trubisky was a division winner / Pro Bowler.
All Pro. What?
And then we got a future
All Pro, Tony.
Well, I'm sorry.
All Pro was up.
See in the future.
All Pro.
These edge rusher rankings. We're gonna adhere to the criteria.
No, it's a moving target. It's a moving. You know what I mean? You got to take it position by position and really evaluate what matters most.
We're not gonna factor in.
Yeah, we got, again,
Pro Football Focus grades or anything in there.
Position by position, figure out what matters most there. Yeah.
See, we talk about the quarterback one. We know the one that's going to actually be hell is the edge rusher one.
No.
The linebacker one?
Once the Steelers bring back Bud Dupree, imagine when we bring back Bud.
The safety one once the Browns sign Bates. That's the one I'm looking
at. You know what?
The safety one with the Browns with Bates.
Add Bud Dupree to the list.
If the Browns get Bates, the safety rankings are going to be that's an all-time. You know what?
It's not changing where I'm ranking the Browns safety room. It's not. It's not changing. Like, honestly, it might get worse. Like, oh man.
Hey, if they get Bates and Hargraves, you'd be happy, right? Here.
Nah. You need to get like 5 other people for me to forget about. It's like the kicker. It's like you need to get like 4 other people that I like before I'm out here like, okay, I'll live.
Remember what happened last year?
Can we do kicker rankings this year?
No. Why? No special teams.
Kicker rankings.
No special teams.
Hey, I remember last year.
We had an all-pro special teamer last year.
Last year, I was watching Q, and they drafted his boy, the defensive lineman. I'm blanking his name right now.
Perrion Winfrey, and I'm live on screen celebrating the Perrion Winfrey pick, and then it comes in. Hey, we drafted a kicker in the 4th round. I was like, you know what? I don't care. We took Perrion.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what's gonna be with Bates.
Nah. Jesse Bates is far too high of a price. I'm like, oh yeah. Let me just ignore this whole Jesse Bates thing. Because like
all we need to do is sign John Johnson, and then it'll come.
It would even out if the Bengals sign John Johnson, then I would be like, you know what? Okay. Yeah, we're both going to have busted plays. Like, it's going to be 50-50 when we play that.
Yes, sir. Okay. Saying that, guys, this is it for today's show. Thank you for joining us. We're coming back next week. We're not taking a break until the summer, okay? We're going to have off-season talk. Obviously, we'll see what happens in free agency. We're going to be talking draft. We have all that class. Hopefully, we have some news with Lamar. If not, I might draft.
Oh, wait.
About Lamar Jackson.
Whoa, wait. There's breaking news here.
Oh no. It's a meme. Here we go.
Apparently, Mike Brown was spotted near a check cashing place in Cincinnati. He said he's trying to get the money to pay Joe Burrow in a couple of years.
Not a couple years, a couple months.
Liquid. He's trying to get liquid right now. You know what I mean? He need to get liquid. We go here.
He should have taken. You know, the problem is interest rates are real high. Can't even take a big loan. You know, you can't.
Nah, you can't. You know, he's going to have to sell off some crypto or something. He's going to have to figure it out, dog. Like, I don't know if he got investments, but I'm pretty sure he don't anymore. Like,
Thank y'all for watching. We will see you next week.
Peace.